Alright, in this video I'm going to teach you guys all about Westside El Paso, popular spots, food, neighborhoods, you name it. If you're looking to relocate to El Paso or buy or sell a home or have a question about El Paso in general, reach out to me. I'm a realtor. Let's go ahead and start with the prices of homes in Westside El Paso. Now this area is pretty desired due to the view of the Franklin Mountains, safety, and the aesthetic of homes. For this reason, the average price of a home there is $280,000, with the price per square foot being $132. Now, there's actually 5 different zip codes in Westside El Paso, so we're going to go over the average price of a home in each of those zip codes just to give you guys a fuller understanding of the West Side. Starting off with the most common zip code in Westside El Paso, it's going to be the 79912. The average price of a home there is $242,000. This is a very convenient location with businesses everywhere. It's home to Coronado High School and Franklin High School. Next up, we have the 79911. This zip code is right above the 79912, and it's actually pretty small because it's mainly comprised of the Franklin Mountains. The homes that are situated here are more expensive. The average price of a home there is $294,000. The 79922. This zip code is actually a little small as well, not as small as the 79911. It's right next to UTEP and Sunland Park Mall, and that's a country club on Country Club Road, and the average price of a home there is $268,000. The 79902. This is actually home to the University of Texas at El Paso. It's kind of in the downtown area, and there are a lot of raw pieces of land being sold here to build new homes on, along with some beautiful antique homes. And lastly, we have the 79932. Just like the 79922, this zip code borders New Mexico, and it's on the outskirts of El Paso where a lot of the new construction homes are being built. The average price of a home there is $239,000. If you want to know more about the cost of living in El Paso, Texas, go ahead and click the box above. New construction homes. Just a disclaimer, the exact same home in Westside El Paso will cost you more than one in Eastside El Paso, Northeast, or Horizon City for new construction. The zip code that the builders build in is the 79932, the one that's on the outskirts of El Paso. An example of some builders that build new construction homes there would be Colors Homes, Definitive, Carefree, and Palo Verde. Carefree Homes builds in the Puesta del Sol community. Definitive Homes builds in the Strahan community. The builder you want would depend on what floor plans you want, quality, and price. And to be quite honest with you, all the builders really have the same price, so that's one less factor that's going to come into play into your decision. And if this is something that you're interested in, you can go ahead and contact me and we'll go over their inventory, 3D models, and prices. The 79912 has got to be the most convenient zip code to live in because it literally has everything, you name it: entertainment shopping, necessary shopping, department stores, hardware stores, grocery, food, and just fun places to go to. Let's start off with the West 10 Center. Right here you have Walmart, Home Depot, foods of all cultures, and even banks. If you drive even more down Mesa towards the east, you will literally find everything. Mesa is the most popular street in Westside El Paso. Go all the way east down Mesa and take a right on Sunland Park Drive and you'll find Sunland Park Mall, which is home to department stores, beauty, eye care, and food. Right across the street, you have Target, Best Buy, CVS, Office Depot, Barnes & Nobles, and so many other places that I can't even think of them right now. I know I mentioned that there's fun places in the West Side. Well, in Westside El Paso is where we have our Top Golf and Indoor Skiving. That's the only Top Golf and Indoor Skiving in all of El Paso, and that's right at the bottom of the 79912. The 79911, since it's so close to the 79912, and it's mainly comprised of the Franklin Mountains and residential neighborhoods, most of the businesses are shared between these two zip codes. But the 79911 is actually closer to the Outlet Shopping Center. This shopping center is an outdoor shopping center. It has every clothing brand, apparel, fragrance, food you can think of. The main reason why everybody in El Paso goes there is because of the Nike store. This is the biggest Nike store in El Paso, and they have everything that most Nike stores in Cielo Vista or the Fountains won't have. The 79902 is home to the University of Texas at El Paso. And because of that, there's so many places around it for the college students. And at that university, it's where a lot of artists come from out of town to perform. It's called the Don Haskins Center. 79902 is also home to El Paso High School, which is the oldest high school in El Paso, Texas. Now, this zip code really doesn't have many shopping centers. You can define it by the University of Texas at El Paso. The 79922 is right next to Sunland Park Mall as it borders the 79912. The best part about this zip code is that it's super close to Western Playland. Now, Western Playland actually is not in El Paso, it's in New Mexico, but I'm going to be honest with you, the majority of the people that go there are from El Paso. And of course, since this zip code is a bit on the outskirts, it's home to El Paso Country Club, 79932. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, this zip code is still being developed, as many builders are building their new construction homes there. There's not very big shopping centers specifically in that zip code, but there is one nearby, the West Town Marketplace in the 79912. It's really not that far of a drive, but specifically in that zip code, you'll find Dollar Generals, local food places, and easy access to highways. If you own livestock, this zip code might be beneficial to you because there are a lot of stables in that zip code. All right, enough with the attractions in these zip codes. Let's go into the neighborhood. We're going to start off with the one that is still being developed, the 79932. A neighborhood that I'm familiar with in the zip code is right next to Village of Rio Valley, right by Inca Dove Park. This neighborhood is comprised of homes built from 2018 to right now. It is super quiet there, and it's right next to Santa Teresa Country Club. You drive out 2 minutes and then there's homes that were built on 3, 4, 5 acres that are really big. They look like movie type homes. And of course, the new construction homes. There are a couple local food places, corner stores, and Dollar General about 4 minutes away from that neighborhood. And one thing I like about this neighborhood is that it has easy access to I-10. In the 79922, there's this neighborhood called the Willows, and it's actually surrounded by a body of water, which is very unique for El Paso. And because of that, the price of homes there are a bit more expensive. It does have easy access to West Town Marketplace. In the 79912, right at the top, there's this neighborhood called Mission Hill, and it's right by Mesa Street, so you have convenient access to everything because, as I stated before, literally everything is on Mesa, and whatever's not on Mesa will take you there. As I stated before, the 79911 is mainly comprised of residential neighborhoods and the Franklin Mountains. So because of this, if you're going to live in the 79911, you got to take advantage of that beautiful view and live at the very top of the 79911 where it feels like you can literally walk to the Franklin Mountains. This gives you by far the best view in El Paso, if you consider an up-close view the best view. For the 79902, Mission Hills South is a great neighborhood to live in because not only you're on Mesa Street, but you're on Mesa Street right by the university, so you have access to all those great food places. And you also have access to Scenic Drive, which is just a nice cruise to go on in general, but it takes you to central El Paso. All right, I want you guys to be familiar with the West Side, not only the convenient shopping centers, some neighborhoods in there, but the roads, of course. We're gonna start off with I-10. I-10 takes you all the way from the east side to far west side, and whatever exit you take determines which zip code of the west side you'll end up in. Take Sunland Park Drive exit and you'll end up at the bottom of the 79912. Take Paseo del Norte and you'll end up at the top of the 79912 / bottom of the 79911. Take Wrestler and it could leave you at the bottom of the 79912, or if you stay on it, at the top of the 79911. And of course, if you take Sun Bowl Drive, it'll leave you in the 79902 at our university. If you want to end up in the 79932, you're going to stay all the way on I-10, get off on Paseo del Norte, but instead of taking a right to take you to the 79912/11, you're going to take a left and get on Artcraft. That'll take you right to the 79932. Mesa Street. Now, if you're not a freeway type of person and you just like staying on the roads with stoplights, Mesa is going to be the way to go because it can take you all the way from the bottom of the 79902, where UTEP is, to the 79932. Now, there are a couple roads that aren't the biggest and most popular in Westside El Paso, but I always find myself on them, so I'm just going to mention them in this video, and that's going to be Red Road, Escondido Road, and Westwind. Red Road will take you from zip code to zip code. Escondido and Westwind, it's in the 79912, and it just has a lot of convenient businesses on them. All right, commute is important, so I want you guys to know how long it's going to take you to get from place to place in El Paso, Texas. Disclaimer, the times I'm going to say is going to be from the farthest part of the start point to the farthest part of the end point. So if depending on where you're coming from, these times might shorten down. For starters, if you're living anywhere in Westside El Paso, it's going to take you about an hour to get to the farthest part of Eastside El Paso. If you're in the 79932, It's going to take you about 18 minutes to get to the 79912 and 29 minutes to get to downtown El Paso. To get from the 79922 to the 79912, that's about a 14-minute drive and a 17-minute drive for downtown El Paso. To get from the 79902 to the 79912, it's going to take you about 10 minutes and it's about 5 minutes away from downtown. And lastly, the 79912, it's going to take you about 13 minutes to get to downtown El Paso. And just remember, these times are from the farthest starting point to the farthest ending point. Schools. Let's go ahead and talk about some common West Side schools that I often see most kids that live in the West Side go to. Franklin High School. This is in the 79912. It has a 6 out of 10 in general and a 7 out of 10 in test scores. Coronado High School. It has a 6 out of 10 just in general and a 6 out of 10 in test scores. Wiggs Middle School. This school has a 6 out of 10 in general and a 7 out of 10 in test scores. Brown Middle School. Brown Middle School is actually a pretty big middle school, and it was the nicest middle school in El Paso when I was in middle school. A lot of the fine arts from different schools will go there to perform. It has a 5 out of 10 in general and a 6 out of 10 in test scores. Polk Elementary School. This is actually one of the best schools in El Paso, regardless of the grade. It has an 8 out of 10 just in general and a 10 out of 10 in test scores. Property taxes. Property taxes are very important because they're going to be factored into your mortgage payment, or if you pay it off in cash, it's going to make a difference if you're paying $4,000 a year to live in your house versus $8,000 a year to live in your house. I went ahead and put a list together of homes in each zip code in the 1,700 to 2,000 square footage range so you guys can compare property taxes to see which zip code you would like to be paying property taxes in. Here we have a couple homes in the 79912 in the 2,000 square footage range, and their property taxes are ranging $5,400 to $5,900 a year. Next up in the 79911, there's not much data, but this 2,000 square foot home has property taxes of $8,313. And as I mentioned before, a lot of the homes in that zip code are more expensive. The 79932, we have these homes in the 2,000 square footage range with property taxes of $5,500 to $5,600. In the 79922, we have this 1,800 square foot home with taxes of $7,859. This is because it's in the Willows neighborhood that we previously talked about, the one that's surrounded by the body of water. But there's also this 1,700 square foot home with taxes of $4,100 a year. In the 79902, there is this 1,800 square foot home with taxes at $7,710. Like, that's all for Westside El Paso. If you guys need me to elaborate on something or you want me to make a video on something else, reach out to me and I'll go ahead and do that.